We're seeing $55.60 in the opening minutes. It's not the gangbusters that the gray market suggested yesterday. How do you think the market is looking at the volatility now globally? Is there some risk?
Well, this is really an issue between the issuer and the market, and exactly how much they think that they have on the table, and also how much the market anticipate they're going to make in the aftermarket. So we don't really pay too much attention. Some deals pumps up big time, and then they come back. Other, go slowly climbing up. So we'll see. It's not something I lose a lot of sleep over.
But it was 564 times oversubscribed on the retail tranche.
Yes.
There's like 200 main key investors, including some sovereign wealth funds. So there was a lot of institutional investor interest as well. What does it tell you about the demand for these Chinese tech unicorns that are coming up? This is bigger than a unicorn, but what does it tell you about the demand?
No, I don't usually read too much into all this dynamics of the after trading. As I said, there are many factors that affect this. I don't know this particular one. Obviously, we're living in very choppy overall market. Sentiments are pretty skittish with the trade war, with interest rate, and with a lot of things that are happening. So people, a lot of people are looking for a quick buck to make, on the pop, but other people are here to stay. This is a great company. I think it's going to be here for a long, long time. But, maybe people make some money on the first trade, but maybe not.
Now, we also heard yesterday Xiaomi is filing for its IPO, potentially upwards of $10 billion US. And again, the first one to apply under the new rules of dual-class shares. What signal does that send to you as the future of the IPOs for dual-class shares? Well,
we know massive demand. We've been waiting for this day for a long time. We've been working real hard to make it happen now. Now it happened. The rule changed, and the applications are now available. And now we see a lot of interest coming in. But initial filings, we already start to see pretty healthy pipeline. And we'll see. As I said, there's a pretty sizable IPOs. There's a lot of demand for them, but the overall market sentiment is a little bit choppy this year, and there's still a lot of things that need to work out in the market over the coming months. So we'll see. But as a regulator and as an operator, all we need to do, all we are focusing on is to make sure the rules are there, process are properly in place, and then let the market decide what the market wants to do.
Can you shed some light on that pipeline that you're talking about? Are we talking more of these big names? Xiaomi is one, obviously. Didi Chuxing is another, Ant Financial possibly? Or are you looking at small?
I don't really, first of all, even if we have received applications, we are not supposed to really disclose them. So I wouldn't really be able to comment on specific pipeline if you think pipeline means what we have already received to date. But we do understand from many sources, people are getting ready to file. People are lining up, the advisors and the processes. So I do see in the coming, weeks and months, we're going to see dozens of companies to potentially put the application in. And then summer is going to hit, and usually nothing really happens much in the summer. So I do anticipate a very substantial autumn. Usually September to November is really the peak season for listings, giving many of the unique accounting requirements, for books.
How important is it to you, though, because in 2014 you did lose Alibaba?
Oh, well, I think, we don't really chase IPO, either numbers or amount of raise as a potential, actually, a particularly important benchmark. As I said, focus on the rules, focus on the process, and make sure they're in place, and then let the market decide how much is coming. And the exchange, our business is more of a trading business. IPO is important, bring additional trading, particularly during the initial period. But IPO fees are not really a very major source of income. So it's really trading activities is what we care. Obviously, all this new breed of companies bring new life into the trading environment, and that's what we are very happy to see.
And what are your views on the fact that the Hang Seng Index, the benchmark index itself, does not allow companies with a weighted voting system in place like Xiaomi? I understand there is a review underway to possibly change that. Do you think that that would be necessary to have such a large $10 billion company, $100 billion valuation like Xiaomi to be in the benchmark Hang Seng Index?
Yeah, they don't allow it yet, but I think we're going to hear from them pretty soon on potential changes, and I think we're literally around the corner before they will announce what they have, collected and then the feedback they've collected in the last round of consultation. This is the Hong Kong Inc. wide effort, and everybody chips in, and because our market wants to be ready for the arrival of all this new breed of companies, I'm sure we're going to get there.
How about the arrival of CDRs, China Depository Receipts? Do you see the opportunity for simultaneous listings like Xiaomi has alluded to, or do you see CDRs taking away from Hong Kong?
No, I think CDR is addressing a very specific, unique, narrow issue, and I think there will be a number of companies who will choose to do that. Almost all of them will invariably, for different reasons, will be here. All people who are already here may find a reason to be there. Yeah. So it's not really cannibalization.
Very quickly, any update on the possible ETF Connect?
I think it's something we're working on. I don't really see anything imminent in the coming months.
And IPOs, dual IPOs?
You mean CDR and Xiaomi? Yeah, I think Xiaomi could easily do a simultaneous deal if they choose to, if China is ready. But I will see that even if they don't, for whatever reason, I anticipate other companies will follow with some sort of a dual listing, almost like an A&H.
Right.